New tonight, the CEO of the Office of Hawaiian Affairs is suing OHA, claiming the agency violated whistleblower and sunshine laws. Stacy Ferreira says the Board of Trustees' decision to put her on paid leave in September was retaliation for her complaints about Board Chair Kai Kahele. Ferreira says Kahele created a toxic work environment and repeatedly undermined her role as administrator. Ferreira alleges Kahele unlawfully pushed OHA's biennium budget to be certified, and when she brought that to the board's attention and initiated an investigation by the Attorney General, Kahele called a closed-door meeting where she was placed on leave. Ferreira is seeking compensation, reinstatement as CEO, and she wants a court to void the salary of her interim replacement, Summer Silva. OHA says it does not have a response at this time.